Hello, everyone. Bit of energy back in. How's everyone doing? Excellent news. So we need to bring in another chair. We have 6 on this panel, so it'll be very exciting. Also being moderated by a friend of mine, Holly Wood. Great name, right? Holly Wood. Okay, so coming up now, we have... I'm on the wrong page, of course. We have Web3 marketing, which will be a great conversation. How to expand your reach and generate business in this space is certainly something that we're all very excited about. I don't know about you, I'm hearing a really kind of reoccurring theme through all of these discussions, which is participation is absolutely paramount. You can't just talk about this stuff, you can't just read about this stuff, you have to really get involved with it. And I think the team coming up now to discuss this with Holly will be fantastic at giving some more insight into that. So I'm going to bring Holly up now. Holly, if you'd like to come and join us. And Holly's being joined by Nick, by Elise, by Samir, by Megan, and Vanessa. Hey, how you doing, Holly?
Century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that.
Amazing. We love it. Nick was like the late entrant.
Oh, I'm on time.
The errant child. I've given you your intro already.
Not to be fair, I was looking for you in the VIP lounge, and then no one was there, and I couldn't find the green
just like
room.
moving the scene. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for our amazing panel this afternoon. I'm Holly Wood from Hollywood Labs, also innovation editor at 10 Magazine, which is a new discovery. So I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump into Web3 marketing. And we're probably going to ditch the term Web3 pretty quickly. But Nick, I'm going to start with you.
Nick Vinkier, the irritable child, as you said. I'm Director of Corporate Innovation at Chalhoub Group. We're the leading luxury retailer in the Middle East. We represent over 250 luxury brands in fashion and beauty. We work a lot with the LVMH brand, so we operate most of their stores in the Middle East. And we also have our own concepts like Level Shoes in Dubai Mall. If you visited Dubai, you went to Dubai Mall, I'm sure you guys have shopped at Level Shoes. We also run Faces. We have a lot of other stores. And I'm also co-founder of Soulmates. And I'm very proud to finally reveal our first physical sneaker here on stage, the Sirocco 1. I'm happy to talk about that later. And super happy to be here as well. Thank you.
Samir.
Hello, thank you for inviting me today. So I'm Samir, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Absolute Labs. It's a CRM for Web3. Think about Salesforce for Web3. Started this company 2 years ago. It's my third company on marketing tech, based in San Francisco. We are very quite successful with Web2 brands, actually, and Web3. We're funded by several of, Aglaé Ventures, LVMH here, Animoca, Samsung, and a few others, and have customers in the luxury, fashion, retail, and automotive, and on the Web3 world as well.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. I'm Elise Yoshida. I'm working for Christian Louboutin. So as you can see, we do not only do heels, but also all kind of shoes. And in that capacity, I'm dealing with digital and Web3 marketing and communications. I've been working in this kind of innovation and luxury for a very long time now. Probably too long to sell, with different maisons such as Louis Vuitton or Chanel. And today I will represent the side of the brand with Nick.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Grellet. I represent the investor side. I'm the managing partner at Aglaé Ventures. I've been in crypto since 2012, and I'm the proud investor in Absolute Labs. We focus on very early stage investments in Web3 and AI.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Casper. Oh, sorry. Happy to be back up here on stage. And I'm an investor in crypto, blockchain, early emerging technologies. I've been in the space of blockchain since 2012. And I'm also a founding member of Red DAO. Red DAO is the world's first digital fashion-focused DAO. We proliferate the ecosystem opportunities of digital fashion and the dematerialized opportunities of fashion. We also own the world's most expensive digital fashion NFT, which is the Doge Crown, and it's a physical and digital item. So yeah, thank you.
So when we talk about Web3 marketing, what are we talking about? In this session, we will look at how Web3 tooling can support brands with storytelling, connection to new audiences, driving brand awareness, sharing brand values, and the golden ticket engagement through loyalty. Marketing in its current format, and Megan, I'm going to ask you to respond to this first, if that's okay. Marketing in its current format is leveraged engagement with media. Outlets that take the lion's share of the attention economy are still TikTok, Instagram, Snap. How is Web3 marketing different to traditional marketing and social campaigns?
Well, when we look at Web3 marketing, I think G Money, who was up on stage earlier, is one of the best influencers to sort of proliferate the opportunities around on-chain use of ownership, data, and proof of authenticity. He, in every vertical and dimension that you can use blockchain technology, he has been a great example of using it to create new ways to market in Web3.
And Samir?
Yeah, so I've been building products for Web2 marketing for almost like 15 years. And entering Web3 marketing for me is first, we need to, it's a very interesting moment, right? Web3 marketing is coming at a time where we're getting into a post-cookies world, privacy first, and actually crypto wallets are the perfect way to allow actually consumers to take back control of their data, right? So for me, and my co-founder Anthony, when we decided actually to jump into Web3 and crypto and build a product, a CRM platform, we had this idea that all marketing is going to be reinvented here because of this post-cookies and privacy first, and the fact that people want to take back control. So now you have a wallet, you can be anonymous, you can link your email and share it as well with the brand or not, but you can still engage with the brands, right? And that's the tool we build actually. And so marketing is reinvented here in a way that is more respectful of consumers' choice here, and it's going to be changing a lot of things, right? The way brands are today advertising to social media, which costs them a lot, and paying for profiles and demographics, etc. Here, what is interesting is the blockchain have almost 700 million wallets today, right? All the data is public, but it's anonymized. And it's also very powerful for brands, right, that are entering actually this Web3 world.
Vanessa?
Yeah, and I want to say there's also additional channels that are specific to Web3 where communities gather that you should think about in the future, whether it's Telegram, Signal, or other, or Discord. We see where these Web3 communities are gathering, and it may be something that becomes mainstream. Right now, if you want to target Web3 communities, that could be a great way to have a better ROI than general Instagram, et cetera.
And Elise, we've seen a seismic shift into the world of gaming for marketing, specifically in Roblox. Not the first time or the last time anyone's hearing this today. What drives a brand to take this route when traditionally the golden rule for online engagement is do not leave home base? You have users come to your website, do not ever distract them or take them off-site. So kind of what's the new diversion away from this tried and tested formula? Kind of what's the motivation, do you think? Is it greed or fear driving that?
you know, for most of the brands, and not only luxury brands, one of the stake is really to get to the next generations, right? Gen Z or whatever generation Alpha we call them. And if these generations do not have parents that take them to a store, or if they don't live in a city for luxury, for example, that has a luxury store, and there are plenty of it, think China, think the US, then what is the first touch base, like first point of touch with the brand? It's going to be online. It has to be online. So as we mentioned, online could be obviously social media, but as you said, Samir, it's very costly, etc. And as a matter of fact, these generations, they are already gaming. It's a fact. I remember, I don't know if you remember, but Shan Puri, right in 2021, he was already saying that there are more kids playing Fortnite than kids, you know, playing basketball and football combined. So I'm not telling this is a good thing necessarily, but here we are. That's the reality of our world. And even in 2019, I remember Netflix saying that they were losing more customers to Fortnite than to Hulu or HBO. So gaming is a thing. It's really a thing. So that's why the brand want to go there naturally. Now, with the war of attention on social media, your contents are supposed to be, you know, shorter and shorter, and all the platforms, they're encouraging us to create 6-second content, etc. Whereas on gaming, you can stay here for hours and interact with the brand. Plus, for us, you don't have to pay people to come once to your website, you know, the way if you have a microverse, we will have to pay a lot to get your traffic and to pay people to come back. Here, you only have to make a nice enough experience so that the young come. So it's not fear or greed. I think in the end, it's an opportunity to interact with your new audiences in just a more meaningful way.
It's really interesting. You just made me think about that word newness that stores used to be so excited about. You know, you have to have newness. And of course, you do have that in the gaming space the whole time. What's your kind of experience, Nick?
We are extremely deep going into gaming. So a couple of, let's say 18 months ago, Roblox came onto our radar. We got in touch with a local Roblox studio based in Abu Dhabi, Boltable Studio. The guy explained me everything. I was already like playing Roblox a little bit, just like tiptoeing into it, but I wasn't really familiar with the economics behind it, the whole economy within the Roblox platform. And I must say, I was stunned. 18 months ago, I literally cleared the rest of my schedule for the day, and I spent 4 or 5 hours with the founder of Boltable Studio. He explained me everything. I asked 100 noob questions, so I was very happy that he explained everything to me. And it was very clear to me that we were looking for this metaverse, but it was hidden in plain sight all the time. Today, I don't know if everyone in the audience understands the potential there, but Roblox has 70 million unique users every day, active users. That's more than 200 million users per month. Last year, Roblox made more than $2.2 billion in in-game revenue. They paid out close to $750 million in creator payouts. I mean, the opportunity, the potential is huge. So I think looking at gaming is a whole new chapter of indeed connecting with the new audience, with the customer of tomorrow. But there is already a very short-term capital gain there as well. I think the product is changing. So we're talking about a physical product, we're talking about selling it online, but today we're also seeing a virtual product. If you look at people that are on the Roblox platform, and I'm specifically not saying kids that are gaming, because if you look at the data, more than 25% are 18 plus, and not everyone is playing on Roblox. People are also there to connect, to talk, to experience, to walk around, to whatever. So it's
As
really
like social interaction.
Absolutely. There's people even dating. So like you have people that use Tinder. You also have people that use Roblox to connect with each other and then end up on dates with each other as well. So I think we really need to look into it more. And to come back, we also have new virtual products. We launched a virtual brand on Roblox a month ago, Rebel Clothing. And we sold more than 1 million Robux so far in 1 month, all organic. So no paid advertising whatsoever. And we sold more than a million Robux already.
And
so
that's
imagine the potential.
purely digital goods.
It's only virtual products. And
Wow.
the very cool thing about this is if we're going to, so the plan is we'll do this the full year now. So we'll churn out more products virtually. So we're making shirts, pants. We're not making crazy stuff like wings or whatever. It's very close to what you would be able to make in a physical world as well. And by the end of the year, we'll be very data informed with what is working and what not. And for us, it's all the R&D and the experimentation is close to $0 there to see, okay, what is working in this platform and what not. So imagine if we use that data then to create physical collections. It's going to give us a whole new layer of input in product development, rather than, okay, this is what's going to work, or you have someone, an amazing creative director that says, let's go this or that. We work together with the audience, but we're not asking it. We're just looking at the data. This is working. Let's create a collection around it, and let's produce it.
The data is always so interesting, I think.
Especially on this scale. Like
Yeah.
if it sells 50, 60,000 virtual items in a couple of weeks, the amount of data you get for a cost of practically $0 is insane.
Data rich.
And even better when it's on chain.
Absolutely.
I was going to say we kickstarted NFT Paris like 2 days ago with the 3rd edition of the Future Fashion Summit, which is a project that I've been running for the past year in Paris, hosting luxury houses and tech brands, and very much started with kind of like a Web3 ethos. One of my key takeaways from that ties into what you were saying, Nick, around bringing kind of like young teams around you that are kind of native to the gaming space. So Kai Henry from Future Studios is doing exactly this. He has like a team from that are kind of like 19, 20-year-olds that are like native to these environments. And he kind of uses their kind of energy, a little bit like what Elise was saying earlier. You know, you often have this sort of skill set within your team. Yeah. Samir, switching it up a little bit. I was going to ask what's happening behind the scenes of some of the projects you're working on. We touched on DPPs, digital product passports. Do you see these as an unlock for brands to reach new audiences or drive deeper engagement?
Yeah, so DPPs, you know, they have, so first it's a European regulation, you know, that makes, you know, companies, manufacturers actually create DPPs, right? Digital product passport. And it looks like the blockchain is one option to create them, and many brands have jumped into the opportunity, which is creating another motivation, you know, for brands to get into Web3. Now, you know, after, you know, spending 2.5 years in talking to marketing executives in Web2 brands, you know, what we see, and to answer your question about how do we unlock, you know, Web3 here with these companies, I mean, we've been listening to their questions and challenges, and the number one question that always come is, you know, how many of my existing customers or audience have a wallet, right? And the second question is, what is the addressable market for my company, my brand, right? Whether it's a luxury, fashion, automotive, whatever it is, right? And, you know, we have ways to answer to these questions, obviously. We have a product to do that. And then once they realize that, hey, maybe 1%, 5%, 10% of your customers have a crypto wallet, they can see, you know, what is in these wallets with a consent, obviously, right? The buying power, the portfolio value of these guys. And then they're going to come with, hey, now we have something interesting here. Maybe we should launch an NFT collection, build, you know, issue tokens, or add crypto payments on our e-commerce or in-store, or create a loyalty program, right? And DPPs comes as well here, you know, as an interesting way to get another, you know, good reason to jump into Web3. But there's many of them, actually, and yeah, would love to hear, you know, we're working very well with Aura Blockchain, right? That is an amazing consortium, you know, helping several brands, you know, luxury brands, automotive, etc. And we see actually for DPPs when they are issued, right, for customers, a way to help engagement here, right? Because, you know, once the DPP and the NFT is issued, right, you want to engage with the end user. So DPP is one of the things that is going to be happening here, right?
And it could be used in multiple ways. And one of the things I think is really exciting in that engagement moment is the conversation around sustainability, circularity, thinking about like the care and repair, which is like an added extra.
Yeah, indeed, Samir, you told it. All the brands, and especially the brands in my field, have started getting interested in DPP first thanks to regulations. But if you take only the regulations that are coming, you can do it off-chain, totally. You know, it's a possibility. You go on off-chain servers and you do your thing and you're compliant. But all the brands with a vision start thinking ahead and realizing that if they don't start building now their infrastructure on the blockchain, that they may be missing out on future opportunities. And you've named them. Engagement is one of them, obviously. But for luxury brands like ours, certification, authentication, care and repair, super interesting, and something we're not quite ready to talk about in some cases. That's the second life, but we know for sure that it's coming. So all the brands start building not for today, but because they know that building on the blockchain is actually building for the future.
Megan, I was going to ask you, we had a really fantastic prep call with the panel, and one of the lines, you were always so good at like the little sound bites, Megan, but you talked about device disruption. Will you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it's already here, kind of, in the US at least. Apple launched their Near Eye wearable, the Apple Vision Pro, which enables spatial computing and mixed reality experiences. And that's a real use case for having all of our data externally on chain. Eventually, we'll be able to know just wallet to wallet. And there are companies now like OpenCloset that gives you the ability to see which owners of assets, for example, if you own the Louis Vuitton Via trunk, and you're also a holder of a 90cc piece and an artifact piece, they can pull all of that data and give the brands and the consumers data that you can't see without everything being on chain. So it's very exciting. And even more interestingly is that the data can be very detailed. So for example, artifact sneakers, when you go on to something like OpenCloset, they'll give you the data points around, but even the color. So all of the sneakers that have been sold through Artifact, the gray color has been the most popular color out of every color, but there are all these little fine details that brands can now collect about their products and sort of tunnel and target directly insight for, what's being purchased where they couldn't.
It's such
previously.
an interesting kind of like format for marketing. Normally this would be termed growth marketing when you're using that kind of data. But more creatively, Vanessa, do you think there's kind of applications? I mean, obviously there are applications, but what are you kind of excited about with things like Apple Vision Pro?
So I really like what Megan said about the Vision Pro. I think that's going to unlock a lot of experiences. We have one company that we invested in who does AR, permanent installation of NFTs, all over the world, and they're powering some games on Solana right now. And so they're compatible with Vision Pro. So you can imagine having those NFTs or works of arts in shops, in the street, and engage the client to find them or to, collect them. So I think that will be in the future once everyone is comfortable with, these glasses and the technology gets better. But we see already the beginning of these types of experiments that are starting.
And I was thinking, Nick, in terms of like physical spaces and like geolocating, geotagging, AR, VR experiences, how are you kind of thinking that in your markets and territory?
I think that's there is an opportunity to make the physical more immersive, I would say. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what the customer wants. So I think if we look at our luxury brands that we represent, and look at the luxury customer, it's not always necessary that the customer walks into a beautiful store and then wants a QR code, scan that, and then see an immersive store or experience on their phone. I think it is extremely important to always go back, look at the customer, and make sure that, okay, are we really delivering what the customer really wants at this time? Is this the job to be done? Are we catering to that? Yes or no? And I think I'm very happy to see what is being discussed this year at this conference is really to the level of, okay, what are the pain points that we're trying to solve? What are the use cases that are really going to add value to the customer, rather than, a couple of years ago where we only were talking about, speculation, coins going to the moon, and NFTs that we could flip and make a bunch of money on. So I'm very happy to see that level of maturity in our industry. Not only from a professional side, but also from a consumer side, that people are very aware of this. But for me, apart from AR and so on, I think there's so much cooler things and more valuable things. I think what Megan said absolutely hits home in terms of engagement and loyalty. We can completely rethink loyalty right now in an engagement type of way, rather than just transactional with on-chain transactions. And I'm really thrilled about that. I'm really thrilled with digital product passports, with on-chain engagement, everything there. I think that is one of the biggest areas of opportunity for brands. 100%.
And there's different ways, I guess, that consumers or clients, customers are going to engage or be excited about DPPs. For instance, someone might just want to be, rewarded by going into a physical store. Like you say, not necessarily having a full brand immersive experience. It might be about proof of purchase or POAPs, for instance. Do you have any kind of thoughts around good examples or amazing use cases that you've seen when we're thinking about brands and marketing? Obviously, we have that online moment first, but we're often trying to drive that traffic to a physical store. And Gen Z audiences really do want a kind of a physical experience. They want to have connection and meet. This is going to be our last question, I think. Samir, I'm going to hand it to you first.
Yeah, so one very interesting thing that we see now happening in store, right? If you want to have a physical, is a few brands we're working with are testing actually crypto payment in store. And what is very interesting here is they're not saying, payment is just one part of the customer experience here, right? But it's not the customer engagement part here. So what is interesting with wallets is making a payment in store, it's not like making a payment with a credit card, because you get recognized here with your wallet, connected to the CRM, and you get rewarded. There is a loyalty program behind it, right? Because you paid with crypto. And we started to see some very interesting, use cases here, right? Of there's more and more people coming into shops saying, "Hey, can I pay with my wallet?" Right?
So the engagement then has more legacy to it. It's a more in-depth experience.
Yes, exactly. So here you come with a wallet, even you may be anonymized or not, you're recognized through the CRM, but the boutique, the store actually is using, right? And then you get rewarded, which is not happening with a credit card, right? Now, we're integrating the crypto payment into the clienteling apps of some of the brands we're working with. And these are creating some very interesting experiences here, right, on the retail.
I hadn't thought of it like that before. Credit card payments, hit and run.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
So I think bringing back the client into the store is an amazing experience. But I think, like you said, there's a lot of people who don't have access and who still want to be delighted online. So I think it's about the customer engagement and experience both online and in the store, where it needs to be seamless, it needs to be personalized, and I think we have the tools now to do that. And then bringing back to the store is sort of the ultimate, but I want to also be mindful of people who are not living in big cities, who are trusted and valued customers too.
Elise.
Well, I will broaden a little bit the question because it is a bit obvious, obviously, that we can do this link offline to online to bring customers to store. But I can think of even a wider way to transform totally an experience. And what comes to my mind is actually the horse betting world that is very different from the kind of brands we were talking about. But if you take, for example, this field that used to be only physical, and I have to say quite for older generations, through Web3 and through the initiatives of some of very gifted people, they created stables, and it totally revolutionized the world and brought it from a physical one only to an online and physical. And we all know a lot of people that started with their NFTs and they're racing with NFTs and eventually got interested into the physical world. So to make the bridge with your first question, I think we can also think about that for more traditional brands and start totally totally different experience online, but that will bring eventually the younger generations to our traditional stores.
Nick.
I think it comes down to being to giving a seamless experience to the customer, for 100% for sure. So if we're going to add more embellishment, more confusion, frustration to customers, they will obviously never do it. And I think that was the issue that we had before with Web3, and that we're slowly getting rid of right now. Making or generating wallets on behalf of a customer, not talking about it. I think it was Nelly that mentioned it, like, let's bring Web3 to the background. I hope we will never use Web3 as a word anymore, which is fantastic. If you go to a store, you don't see any message anymore where a brand says, we are on the internet now. Yeah, of course not. It's just download our app or a QR code. You download the app and you shop there. And I think that is the evolution that we're going through as well, making things seamless. And I also think that what is important is that we do things as well, because usually we love to talk about stuff, but I also hope that the coming year, the coming 12, 18 months, we see more real things happening in front of us, rather than just the nice talks and the keynote speeches about what we can do with Web3 and all of the technologies.
I think that's what we were really excited about at Future Fashion Summit. We hosted a proof of concept with Wrangler and Mintage. And it was exactly this thing of where, blockchain is the technology that's kind of like empowering the conversation around vintage denim, circularity, community, different conversations and connections. So our guests were like gifted pieces from this archive capsule and left as like a connected community, which was really cool.
Absolutely. I think even if you look at the shoes that we're producing right now, they're NFC tagged. So each left sneaker has an NFC chip in them. You just scan them, you can claim your token, and boom, your ownership is on-chain verified. I mean, if we can do it with our small Soulmates team, I mean, every brand in the world can do this as well. So what are we waiting for?
Megan, I'm going to end this with you. Just a final remark on kind of like the marketing and Web3 era.
Well, I'll touch on the experiences in store. We've seen several of our portfolio companies gain traction around augmented reality try-ons. That's been a pretty big trend for consumers to go in and be able to try on their garments virtually. And I think that disruption will also happen with the Vision Pro. And when you walk into a store with a Vision Pro, it's going to be very different. Internet of Things tied in immediately with the contextual data. And I also think from an experience standpoint, brands we're already seeing it today with points, right? Points being put on chain from off chain. But I think consumers will be compensated for what they do, whether it's a quest or where to earn or play to earn, and this to-earn economy will proliferate.
I did think when you were talking about cookies earlier, if somebody created like a phygital version of that, I don't mind being rewarded in cookies if anyone wants to do that. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. I really appreciate it. And I will hand back over to Ben.
Thank you.
You need that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Holly, and a wonderful panel discussion. Thank you.